What's up guys, Marty the teambeige here, and today we are back with another video. So, if you guys know, I really love Fire King cards. I think they're super cool, I think they're super awesome. It's one of my favorite decks, I think, within the past year, ever since the Structure deck came out. And we finally got Fire King Consort Volcanics coming in Rage of the Abyss. This card does so much for the Fire King strategy, and I'm going to be showing a couple different combos involving this card for like different versions of the deck. So we'll be taking a look at a combo that is fairly pure. That is like this first combo is a pure Fire King combo. All it needs is one Volcanics and a fire, and then we're gonna be looking at Volcanics splashed in with some other engines and strategies and just ways that this card really helps make the Fire King deck excel. Fun fact, you will not be seeing a single Snake Eye monster in this video. Anyways, let's get right into it. So, yeah, we're going to start with Volcanics. When she is normal or special, we can destroy one other fire monster to add a fire tri-beast from our deck to our hand. I realize it's a tri-beast, so that's kind of crazy. You can add like Fractal or like Kit or I don't know what else, but we're going to add Ponix in this scenario, and we're going to activate Ponix and use its effect to special summon from the hand since a fire monster was destroyed. And then we're going to use its effect on field to get Fire King Sanctuary. We're going to activate our Sanctuary and place it onto the field, place Island on the field, and then activate Island, destroying our Volcanics. Next, we're going to add our Sacred King Garunix off Island, and then we're going to trigger our Volcanics as Chainlink 1 to special summon the old Garunix from our deck, and then we're going to summon our new Garunix from hand in the same chain. And then once that is resolved, we're going to activate Garunix to dump our Vada to the grave. And we're going to activate our Vada's effect, and he is going to revive Volcanics. So we have 4 bodies here that we can do pretty much a lot with. But again, this is a pure Fire King combo, so I'm going to show you guys what the kind of basic thing you can end on is. We're going to link away our Garunixes to make our Sunlight Wolf, and then we're going to link our Ponix for an Anima. Next, we're going to trigger Sunlight Wolf. If you popped an Ash Blossom off Volcanics, you can use Sunlight Wolf to add the Ash Blossom here. Otherwise, you can add back any fire you want from the grave. That isn't Arvada is really kind of just the big deal. I'm using it to add back Ponix just as like a little bit of follow-up. Next, we're going to link our Sunlight Wolf with our Anima for our Promethean Princess, and then we're going to activate Princess's effect to revive our Arvada, providing us with a monster negate. And then we're going to go ahead and link our Princess and our Volcanics for Doolittle Chimera. I think this card is great for like Fire King, or just with Promethean Princess, just because you can go you can go Princess, pop this card, and then add back any fire from your grave to your hand. This gets really funny when you get to loop like Ash Blossom, Kieran, like literally just any fire. And also, if you happen to destroy Arvada can revive Chimera, destroy it during the end phase, and then add back a fire. So overall, like this is a very basic board. You could theoretically link this for do the Princess and the Volcanics for Ambler Whale, and instead of like, I think instead of the Sunlight Wolf, you can make IP. Like there's this, but this is kind of like what I like because it creates like a little bit of a resource loop. So that's it for the pure Fire King combo. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the same cards, but with a little bit of something in between. So see y'all in a minute. All right, so we're back with the 2 same cards that we started with, Fire King Consort Volcanics and Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. So let's get this combo going. We're going to go ahead and go through the motions that we just looked at. We're going to trigger our Ponix. Ponix gets Sanctuary. Sanctuary is going to place Island. Island pop Volcanics, add Garunix. Volcanics effect special, Garunix effect special, and then Garunix effect dump. We're going to dump our Vada, and then our Vada is going to special Volcanics. Next, we're going to go ahead and link our Volcanics and our Garunix for a Moon of the Closed Heaven. And you're probably like clicking out the video, you're like, ah, man, this sucks. Boo, boo. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I just had to show it. So we're going to go ahead and summon our Moon, and then we're going to go ahead and link for our fiendsmith Requiem. Requiem effect is going to special summon Engraver from the deck. And then we're going to go ahead and link our, that's a misclick, embarrassing. Cotton 4K. Link our Engraver and our Garunix for our copy of Sequence. Sequence effect, we are going to go ahead and fuse using our Requiem, our Engraver, and our Moon, and we are going to fusion summon our Desiree. So the one benefit to this is normally, unless you're playing Homeboy Ring Bali, you don't really have a spell trap negate in Fire King. Um, Adding this small package, it's only one engraver. You'll see later. Desiree does let you do that. Um, so it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Do I think it's good? Who's to say? But I think is okay. I think the cool thing to note about this is that Volcanics just generates the bodies to do this. I think that's what's really important here. We're gonna next link away our sequence and our Ponix for Promethean Princess, and then we're gonna activate Princess's effect to summon our Arvada, and then we're gonna go ahead and do sequence equip to Desiree, and then we're actually just gonna pass turn here during um it doesn't seem that great, but again, this is just off Volcanics, and this is just with a fire. The idea is that you have your Omni Negate here, and then Arvada can destroy the princess, then thus making the princess live. And then you can trigger your Garunix. Garunix can pop Kieran, summon Ponix, summon our Volcanics. Like there's just a bunch of options you can do here. So this is like keeping it simple. If you wanted to play like Fire King with like a very teeny tiny feats of attention, but yeah. So that's also what Volcanics plus a Fire can do. Let's head to the next combo. All right, for this next combo, you're looking at two of the most expensive cards or secret rares that are in Rage of the Abyss. And good news is for this combo, you only need one of them, or at least one of these cards, and that is Sinful Spoils Deception. This is really boosts the Azamina archetype. It is Azamina is a great splashable engine and highly anticipated to be strong in any deck that can utilize the Sinful Spoil cards. And for this combo, all you need is one Sinful Spoils Deception plus one monster to tribute off its effect. To note, this combo also does work if you don't open Deception, and you open Witch or Wanted instead. If you do open Witch or Wanted instead of Deception, you just need one more card to send to summon Witch, and then a monster to tribute off Deception that is not Witch. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. So, we're going to start our turn by activating Sinful Spoils of Deception. We're going to use its effect, tributing Furos, because get that card out of here. It's stupid. And we're going to add our Sacred Azamina. Sacred Azamina lets you reveal one Azamina fusion monster in your extra deck and send one Sinful Spoils card from your hand or field to the graveyard for every 4 levels the revealed monster has. If those cards are set, reveal them, then special summon the fusion monster. This is treated as a fusion summon. So we're going to use our Sacred Azamina, revealing our Muraseliago, and then sending our Sinful Spoils Deception to summon our Muraseliago. Muraseliago effect is going to activate, and we are going to go ahead and add Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. Now, if we started this combo with Witch set Deception, instead, Muraseliago here is going to add OSS. Yeah. And then we are going to, but in this case, we're going to activate our Wanted, and Wanted is going to go ahead and get our copy of Black Witch from our deck to our hand, not our grave. And then we are going to go ahead and use our Wanted here to banish it and put our Deception on the bottom of the deck to then draw a random card. I'm just drawing Ash Blossom in this case. And then we're going to send the Ash Blossom to summon our Black Witch, and then Black Witch effect is going to set OSS. So if we did use Witch or Wanted to start this combo, the card that you end up needing to send to summon Witch gets replaced with Wanted, which is the good thing. So like it's not that bad. You know, you're basically ending on the same number of cards that we started with, at least for both ends of the combo. So we're going to set our original, and then we're going to link these two for Moon of the Closed Heaven. Yay, Fiendsmith combo. But the big important thing about this was just that so we can send our Muraseliago to the grave. So we can use our Sacred Azamina, which lets us return an Azamina extra deck monster from the field or grave to the extra deck to add it to our hand. So we're going to go ahead and add this. And then we're going to activate Sacred Azamina, revealing our Sylvia, our Rhea Silvera, and send our OSS to go ahead and summon it to the field. This is going to provide us with an Omni Negate. This is the new Baron, and it's easier to summon. Yay, love it here. So we're going to send our... So after we do that, we're going to link away Moon for our Requiem, and then Requiem effect is going to go ahead and summon our Engraver. Keeping it really minimal with the Fiendsmith package for this list. And then we're going to go ahead and use our OSS in the grave, banishing itself for cost, targeting our Witch, and then adding a Ponix from our deck to our hand, and then putting the Witch on the bottom. Next, we're going to normal summon Ponix, activate the effect, go ahead and get Fire King Sanctuary, and this is where I was lagging. We're going to activate Fire King Sanctuary, placing Island on the field, and activate Island, pop Ponix, go ahead and add Garunix, and then trigger the in-hand effect of Garunix, and then Garunix is going to go ahead and dump Olcanix. Olcanix effect, we're going to summon our OG Garunix, and then here we're going to link our OG Garunix and our engraver for our copy of Sequence. Next, we're going to activate Sequence, shuffling back our fiendsmith cards, like so, and we're going to go ahead and summon our Desiree. Next, we're going to link our Sequence and our Garunix for our copy of Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess effect, we're going to summon our Olcanix. Now, there's a couple of options you can do here. You can do, again, a multitude of things. You can link away you can use Sequence equipped to Desiree and then negate Promethean Princess like you do normally, and then link away for like Scylla Hat Rabbit. I'm choosing to do something a little bit different just because, in my opinion, what I'm choosing to do provides a little bit more layers of disruption. Is it better? Don't know. Honestly, I'm amazed we made it this far with just Fire King cards. So we're going to go ahead and on summon, after we use Princess, use our Olcanix effect, and then we're going to Olcanix pop Princess to add our copy of Kieran. Next, we're going to go Sequence. I forgot to equip, but we're going to go Sequence on our turn to equip to Desiree. And then during the standby of their turn, because Ponix was destroyed by Island, we're going to add it to our hand. So we have like a lot of options here in terms of layered interruption, which is really nice. We have our Omni Negate from Rhea Silvera. We have our double Omni Negate from Desiree. We have, you can make Olcanix an 8, funny enough, when you add the Kieran. So if you go Kieran, use itself to summon, you can actually overlay Kieran and Olcanix to make the Garunix XYZ. You have a Princess Pop. If something is destroyed, you can trigger Garunix. So there's like a lot of cool things you can do with this, a lot of great options. The board gets a little tight here, I think, with Desiree, but honestly, it's like, I think this is great, just off of one Deception or the Wanted or the Diabell Star. So that is it for this combo. We are going to go ahead and take a look at the deck list. All right, and we are back with the deck profile. So I tried to organize things a little bit, but it's kind of looks a little funky when I organized it. So we're just going to go over the engine cards and then start to talk about non-engine, and also things like you should maybe also consider with non-engine. So as you can see, this is a pure Fire King deck with no Snake Eye cards, but we do have our one Mr. Smith in here, as well as our Azamina card. So that's like the most of other engines we have. The whole reason I wanted to do this without Snake Eye cards is Snake Eye cards are good. I'm tired of them. I'm really tired of them. But also, ever since I've been playing Snake Eye since the ban list, I've been really realizing how bad it is to draw Poplar, or to draw Fiendsmith, or to draw, like, Oak, with Poplar also being at 1, and Ash being at 1. Yeah, it kind of sucks. So my goal was to try and make like a cohesive list that utilized, like, obviously the new cards from Rage of the Abyss, but also something that I think just melded a little bit better together. So for our our 12 starters, we have our 3 Wanted, 3 Simple Spoils Deception, 3 Black Witch, and 3 Olcanix. You can maybe decide to do 2 of these or like 2 of this, but personally, I think like these are just all really good starters, and considering we're not playing Snake Eye cards, I think is another reason to max this out at 3. You also kind of see a little bit less redundancy if you open like Witch and Olcanix versus like, because it's different technically than Witch and Ash, Snake Eye Ash, but I wouldn't fact check that so hard. That's just a thought. And then we're playing the 1 original and the 1 Sacred Azamina. You really only need 1 of each. This is like kind of a brick also is one thing to consider. Our 1 Garunix, 1 Arvada, 2 Kieran, 2 Ponix. I'm playing 2 Ponix. You can probably get away with playing 1. The reason I'm playing 2 is just so I can have something to search off of original if I draw a Ponix, just to like fully maximize on every single card we're getting. Maybe there's a world you could play Oak or something, but I think this is just generally good. And then like for our, I think these are considered like, we have 2 soft bricks and then 2 more so hard bricks. So our 2 soft bricks are Sanctuary and Island. Like, yeah, it sucks to draw them, but but they still, so long as you have a fire, which like looking at literally just the left part of my screen, there are so many ways to get fires to get your combo going. Originally in the past, if you draw like Island and Ash Blossom, it kind of sucks having to go like Island, Pop Ash, add Garunix effect. You like would dump Ponix, which again really sucks. But this time you can actually pop Volcanics to summon the old Garunix, so that still gets you into a Link too, which gets you into like Moon or like Fiendsmith. So if you then even just have another normal summon, that's still combo. Um, and then as for these, like yeah, the one of Engraver, it like sure it sucks, but you can Requiem summon it from hand. And I'm not trying to focus so much around Fiendsmith, at least in like a deck like this. I think with Snake Eye, you like if this was maybe Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, Azamina with Shore Cashier thrown in there, like maybe it makes more sense to be able to play more of this just to set up an early like Caesar or something. But Engraver I don't think is like absolutely necessary for this. Like this could be a piece of non-engine. Like I'm not even trolling. And then like this, the Fiendsmith stuff. I have a combo actually. If you guys do want to see it, I can share it later. Where it basically kind of does the same type of combo but without Fiendsmith cards. So let me know if you want that. It does include Azamina though. And then yeah, this is just the hard brick. So this kind of sucks to draw, but it is what it is. If you can't if it's stuck in your hand and you add Garunix, the thing to do is you can just go Garunix, dump Kieran, and then summon this anyway, so that still gets you the body. And maybe you just pop Ponix instead of Volcanics. You know, you can you have a way to be flexible with it. For the non-engine, I'm considering as 3 Ash Blossom Joy Spring. It's fire, so it synergizes, and it's also just really good. 3 Molchami Fuwalos, whatever it's called. This card's insane. I think this card is going to kind of thin out what decks are good in X format. Just because the ability to draw is crazy, and I think people are going to have to start considering ways of how to play through this or how to play around it. I think it's more likely people are going to have to play through it. So I think you need to like go into DB with your friend or on paper with your friend. Have your friend Furos you if they have the card. Otherwise, borrow it. That's crazy. And try and think of ways of maybe how you can like do your plays through all that. 3 Ghost Ogre. So originally this was a copy. This was 3 copies of Dominus Impulse, which is another hand trap that I really like right now. If your opponent controls a card, you activate this from your hand. When a card or effect is activated that includes the effect of special summons a monster, negate that effect. Then if you have a trap in your grave, destroy it. So it's basically Solemn Warning as a hand trap. The one condition, like Purge, is if you activated this from the hand, you cannot activate Lights, Earth, or Wind for the rest of the duel. So because I'm playing Engraver, is the reason why this is not in the main. If this was out of the main and like literally, I don't know, called by, I would maybe put this in. But Ghost Ogre is really good against Sinful Spoils Deception, just as a way to like clear it. So I think Ogre is really strong. So one thing you want to consider when you're deck building is like I think you're gonna have to really like perceive what attributes you're putting in for like non-engine count or like your extra deck. Because if you want to use a card like this that is really good, like I'm not putting it down in any way. I really like this card. You have to acknowledge what could it possibly conflict with. It conflicts with Furos, but I think Furos is too good for you not to play it. And I think you can find a way to go like Furos first and then Impulse second. 3 Imperm is just good. It doesn't play into thrusters or talents, which is really nice. Which I think with Furos, people are going to be playing talents and thrust a lot more, just as ways to kind of like play through them without giving the opponent too many draws. And for example, I'm playing 3 Triple Tactics Talent. So far, this has been good in testing. I personally am liking it more than Crossout, specifically for the instead of crossing out this card, just because I'd rather like they're not going to do it in the draw phase because otherwise you can just skip your turn. So you're more than likely it's going to happen in the main phase. And I would rather have talents to either draw cards or loop something out of their hand rather than going minus to ensure that the rest of my cards keep playing, if that makes sense. So this is where I'm currently at with talents. And also if you run into like a bunch of anything with like Witch or like Snake Eye related, excuse me, talents is just generally good for that to take. and help with OTKs. And then obviously, if there's like a Desiree or something, you can just take and summon Engraver. And then I'm playing the one Angel Statue Azaroon. This is just a good card to set off Silo Hat, which is a generic endboard piece. For our extra deck, we're playing the one Mu Riciliago. It's all you need. One Rhea Silvera. It's all you need. Another thing you could consider playing as like a going second option is Soul Eris. If he's fusion summoned, you can target a card in the field, send it to the grave. I think the one drawback from this is one, extra deck space, and also the fact it targets. If it didn't target, I would think more people might play this. But it's okay. It's like a good option. And then I'm playing one fiendsmith Desiree. This is like really our only sequence target. It's honestly just in the deck for that purpose, is just to make Desiree and provide another bit of Omni Negate, which cool. I think that's all. I think it's really all you need. I'm playing one Garunix Eternity Huang for the board wipe. It's honestly pretty good, and it's also spell and trap removal. One Requiem, one Sequence, one Hida, one Phoenix, one Moon of the Closed Heaven, one Princess. Maybe there's an argument to playing two Princess if you're trying to play around Nib. If you're doing that, I would maybe swap that for like... Some people I know like to, if at least in the Snake Eye combos, like to send Sanctuary off the Snake Eye monsters to be able to keep their bodies. And so in that case, maybe Garunix isn't needed. But because this is more pure Fire King, and personally I do like Garunix, so I wouldn't do that. Maybe there's an argument to cutting Silo Hat Rabbit. But it also just is a searchable way to like play around Dark Ruler with Desiree. So it's maybe, but also you're setting up Rhea Silvera, so like you should be able to play through Nib, generally speaking. One Relinquished Anima, one SP Little Knight, one Raging Phoenix, one Silo Hat Rabbit, and one World Sea Dragon Zelantis. As for the side deck, this is all just theory right now, but I've been trying some of these things. I'm playing 3 Volcharmy Perulia. Double Charmies is crazy, especially if you go Perulia in the draw phase. You can use it to kind of bait out Ash Blossom for Furos, but also like, but then at that point, people might just be ashing Furos instead. And so it just, but then if they let Perulia resolve, it's just extra pressure, which is like kind of good. 3 Nibiru. So Nibiru, I'm not too sure about, but I think if, like right now, it's not that great into Yubel. And because Azamina is like basically setting up Rhea Silvera very easily, I think if possible, paired Nibiru, it will always be good. And I think it will be better into the Snake Eye deck rather than the or Snake Eye Fire King deck, excuse me, rather than something like Yubel. So it's like maybe something to consider. And also like at the start of the format, it's generally like pretty okay. Droll and Lockbird is also another thing to consider for this upcoming format. There's gonna be a lot of Charmies, and so there's an argument maybe to playing Droll to like Droll yourself once you do your necessary searches, so that way they can't draw off your stuff anymore. Like it's something to consider. One Called by the Grave, just as a going first, you want to hit the Charmies. One Skyburn, I like this as an option to be able to search off of Ponix. I do also like Circle, like that was another card I was considering in this list, but I decided just to cut it to keep this at 40 cards. 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, I think this card is going to see so much play with Molcharmies in the meta. You're just going to be seeing like set a lot of stuff like D-Barrier, magic deflector is also another one that's good into like basically everything. It's just kind of crazy. This hits Tenpai, this hits the mirror, it hits Yubel really well. Like this card is kind of crazy, and I think people need to start considering it for side deck options. And then I'm playing 3 Evenly Match. I think Evenly Match is going to be just generally good as a board breaker this upcoming format. It's already kind of good right now, and also just helps you deal with some of the like also heavy back row decks, which sometimes this deck doesn't always struggle because it has Kieran to be able to deal with things like that. But I think Evenly just as a mass board wipe is really good. So if you guys like the deck, let me know down below what you think. Hit that subscribe button, subscribe to Team Beige, and let me know in the comments what you guys think of the video, what you think of the combos, and what are you most excited for out of Rage of the Abyss. I'm honestly just most excited about Volcanics. I'm so glad she's in the TCG now. And let me know if there's any decks that you guys want me to take a look at from Rage of the Abyss. I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. Will all of it be meta impactive? No, probably not. But I think it's still fun and still worth taking a look at. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.